What's up, doers? It's your boy, Happy Chappy. Look it, we're doing it. Today we're doing it. We're building the underground iron farm. Okay, so the items you're going to need for this build are 18 beds, like usual, your 18 workstations, at least 2 stacks of glass, probably not that much, but I would grab 2 stacks anyways, 4 water buckets for sure, maybe even make yourself just an infinite water source and bring 1 water bucket with you, 6 carpets, 6 oak trap doors, 17 fence gates, 9 hoppers, 2 chests, 1 lava bucket, 3 cauldrons, some lanterns obviously because we're going underground, and then 3 name tags to name those zombies. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do for this is decide where you are going to do it. You know, you could do it inside a little mountain like this as long as there are no caves. You know, try to find an area where there isn't too many caves. I know that's going to be tough to do, especially on survival mode, but just kind of walk around and listen, and if you don't hear anything underneath you, or if you know you're in an area that you've kind of mined before and didn't run into any caves, just use that. But yeah, what you're going to do is dig down at least 8 blocks into the ground here. Now I've gone down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 here, but in fact I'm going to go 10 and then 11 down, and the reason for that is if you're within 10 blocks, or your villagers anyways are within 10 blocks of the surface, if you're playing this on a server where you want to keep your base hidden, you want to be relatively deep, otherwise the people who are walking around above you could potentially hear the villagers making their little meh, meh noises, right? So that's why you want to go down nice and deep, and yeah, you should be good. So the first thing you're going to do when you get down here to the bottom of however deep you're going to build this, what you want to do is you want to dig yourself out a room basically. So go forward about 2 or 3 blocks once you get down to the bottom, and then dig yourself out a room that is 7 by 28 blocks long and 6 blocks high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So you want that right there. And then go 7 wide, so it doesn't matter if you do it from the corner or if you do it from the center here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and then fill this all out, or carve this all out, I should say. Okay, and then make that rectangle there. Look at this beautiful, beautiful stone right here. Carve that out right there. 28 blocks long. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 28 blocks long there. And then remove all of this stone here. This is a lot of, this is a lot of blocks right here, but, this is what you guys wanted. You wanted an underground iron farm, so this is what you're gonna get. Okay, and when you're done, this is what you should have here. So a nice big long rectangle cleared out just like that. Then what you're going to do is right here on this corner, what you want to do is come up 2 blocks and dig out 3 blocks just like that, and then make that 4 blocks high, and then dig that in 5 deep. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then do that for this whole area here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is from here, we're going to come down 9 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we'll dig another 3. And then do the same thing down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then dig your other 3 out just like that. And then make these here again, 4 high and 5 deep. Okay, and what you should have is 3 big giant rectangles like that carved out into the stone that are 9 blocks with a 9 block space in between. Then what you want to do is do the same thing for the other side. So right here, dig these out. So that's 2 up, 3 wide, 5 deep, and then 4 high as well. So do that same thing for this side here, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, and when you're done, you should have 3 big giant squares or rectangles, whatever, carved out on each side. Like I said, with the 9 block space in between. Then what you're going to do is place glass on the bottom of these, on the whole bottom, except for this 1 block here. So 1 in from the back and then 1 in from each side. And what you're going to do is take your piece of cobblestone or something that you mined and place that there. And then do that same thing for all the other things. So place your block there, place your block there, 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 and then there. And then surround this all with glass here. So it should look like that. And then do that the same for all of these little areas here. Okay, and when you're done, you should have a little section that looks like this. And all of the little rectangles here. And what this glass is going to do is when you put your beds here, if you just put your beds down on a piece of solid block, what's going to happen is as these villagers, you know, go to sleep at night and then jump out of their beds, okay, they're going to jump out either onto the front of the beds or into these sections here, which is what you do not want. You want them to pathfind into that block there. So next what you're going to do is place down your beds like that, so that way the little block here falls in between all of them. So do that for all the sections here. And once you're done, this is what they should all look like. So they should all have their beds there with the one block or solid block there exposed. Then what you're going to do is place down your composter behind it with your workstations above the corners of the beds on each side like that. And then place a solid block on top of the composter just like you see there. So that is composter, workstation, and workstation, 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 composter. To get them to go above the beds, like you see there, all I'm doing is shift clicking. Okay, so if you just shift click and aim at the beds, you will get the workstations to go above it. Once you have those done, this is what they should look like. Then you're going to place a solid block on top of the composter. So solid block there, solid block there, 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 and there. So each workstation should now look exactly like this. Okay? Next, what you're going to do is one in from the workstation here. What you want to do is place down a row of blocks just like this. Okay, so that's one step in just like that. Okay, and then make that 4 long. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you should have a 4 long platform. This can be done with any block, but it does have to be a solid block. And then do the same thing for this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're 1 block in. Okay, and this is what you should have so far. So you should have your beds in with the workstations there. Okay, the solid block above the composter with your 4 wide or 4 deep, 7 wide platform, just like that. Next, what you want to do is come here to the center workstations and remove the center block there, and then the 2 on the outside, and make yourself a 3x3 pit there in the middle. And what you want to do is you want to go down at least 16 blocks from the villagers. So like we talked about in the iron mechanics video, the villagers will search within a 16 block area of themselves to see if there is an iron golem present. And if there is one, they will not spawn another one for at least 30 seconds. So if you want this thing to have, you know, efficient numbers to where you get average respawn times of, you know, like 15 seconds and stuff like that, you want to make this pit at least 16 blocks below that block there that the villagers are standing on. So you want to go down, you know, 1, 2, 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and then go all the way down until the golems' heads are at least 16 blocks below the villagers here. So since iron golems are 3 blocks high, what we want to do is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the iron golem right there. So go down a total of 16 blocks from this bottom floor here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and once you have that done, what you want to do is the same thing as before. Just dig yourself out a little room. Doesn't matter which way you go, just dig yourself out an area to work from. Okay, and once you have your little area worked out, what you want to do is put down your chest just to the outside here of the pit, of the fall pit, and then run your hoppers going into that chest right there. Then what you want to do is grab your fence gates and place them all down in an area so that way the whole thing is covered. And then make sure all of these fence gates here are open. So you can see there, they're all open now. And then what you want to do is same thing as before. Jump up onto these hoppers here, grab your lava bucket, and then do the jump in place, and then back out as you place your lava down. What should happen is the lava is going to flow over top of all of this here and not fall down, because we obviously have the trapdoors blocking it. Then what you're going to do is dig yourself back up all the way to the surface if you can. But instead of digging yourself, up and around the pit like we did in the other video, just try to go up basically almost as straight as you can. And if you have to, okay, make sure you turn to the outside, so away from the iron farm. Okay, and once you've dug yourself out, what you can do is just fill that spot back in with grass or something else, does not matter. And then come back down here into your pit and place a block in the center and one above, just like that. Then what you're going to do is grab your fence gates and place one on each side of the block here. And then you're going to have to shift click and place one in each corner, just like you see right there. And then make sure they are all open. And then remove that block there. Okay, so again, just like the other iron farm, this is what it should look like. With your fall pit, 16 blocks or so below the chamber here. Then what you want to do is come to this end down here. I did this one block too long, so you can fill in this whole wall here if you want to. But then you want to fill in this whole area here that is in between these villagers with glass. And that is going to prevent the golems from spawning. You can do that too high if you want to. If you do it too high, you have a less of a chance of golems spawning outside of this area here. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. So place down your glass. Okay, so each end should be built up just like this. Do the same thing on this end. Do it too high if you want to. Or you can cover these sections here with slabs. But what we are going to do first is build up a wall here that is at least 2 blocks high. You can use a temporary block just to jump out if you have to. That would be no problem at all. So do the same thing right here on this line here. Build yourself up a 2 high wall. And the whole farm should look like this. Okay, and now you are basically ready to put your villagers in. What you can do is look at this block right here, and you'll see that we are looking at block 119, 187. So what you can do is take your water source that you have, do like we did before, where you put your water source down in that block there, and then remember what that block is. So 119, 187, and go back up to the surface. Okay, and once you're at the surface, find that same coordinate, so 119, 187, and dig down until you find that little block that's in between all the beds. There it is there. Okay, and then do the same thing for all sides. So jump up, find out which block it is, so 105, 187. Okay, back up here at the surface, look for 105, 187, which is right here, and then dig down until you're on that block, place water down, and then do that for all 6 workstations here. So place down your water sources, do the looking at trick, so you're looking at which block that you're doing, and then go to the surface and dig a hole all the way down. Okay, and once you have all of your holes dug and ready to have your villagers drop down into them, okay, just like that, then what you're going to do is place your temporary block down just like that, and then put a trapdoor on it and remove that block, and then put 3 slabs across the front just like you see there, and then take your glass and build this up too high so that way nothing can spawn on top of these blocks, and the villagers also don't have a chance to jump out. So again, that is a temporary block, then your trapdoor, and then your 3 slabs, removing that block there in the middle. Okay, and once you have that done, what you want to do is take your half slab or full slab, it doesn't matter which block, but you want to put one back there in each of the corners just like that. That is going to stop the villagers from pathfinding into the back corner there. And then you're going to take your glass and build it up on in the front just like this, allowing the villagers to only have the only path findable block to be that one down there, that solid block with the water on it. So once you have that done, do the same thing for all of the other workstations, and you are good to go. So once they all look like this, okay, you are good to go. You can go back up to the surface, okay, and you should see all of your holes here. And then what you're going to do is basically do what we did for the cows on my top 5 farm videos. Just build yourself a little L just like this. Get your villagers close. You can use a boat if you want to. Put them in a boat and then just run them right over top of this hole here. And then just remove the boat, and what's going to happen is you can just give them a little nudge and they'll fall down into that pit there, landing right on their workstation where you want them. Okay, so here's a perfect example of how to do it. You can see the villager there is already taking up the workstation that is below him. And if we just do that there and then bump him down the hole, he'll land right to where you want him. So do that 3 more times for each of these holes here. Okay, and once you have all 3 of your villagers down and inside each of the holes here, okay, so you can see we have them there. What you want to do is just fill these in here with blocks. Remove your little things. Make sure you're putting down blocks that match the surrounding area. Anything that obviously looks a little offset or different could be, you know, a game breaker for your farm. Okay, and once you have all your villagers in, they should look like this. You can put a block above them so that way they don't do any bouncing or anything like that. You can see those guys there are bouncing. If we time it right, we can get a block in there. Okay, and once you have all your villagers in place, this is what it should look like. So you should have your workstation with all your villagers. And next what you're going to do is place your cauldrons. So you want your cauldrons to be on the same level as the bed. So come out here, you know, 4 blocks into the center there, and then place your cauldron down on top of it. You can remove the block underneath it. And then what you want to do is do the same thing as you did with the villagers. So build yourself a little surrounding around the cauldron just like this. And then repeat that for all 3 of these things here. So come out to the center, just like that. Place your cauldron down. Build your surrounding all the way around it. Okay, and once you are done, you should just be able to remove all those blocks there. The cauldrons will be floating. Okay, and once you have all of your cauldrons in place like that, what you want to do is basically build a temporary wall up here. Just like that, and then grab your water source and place 1 block in each corner. You should see all the water flowing towards the center here, with this row here flowing down that way. Do the same thing on this side. Put up a temporary wall with a water source in each corner. Okay, and then what you're going to do is basically remove these blocks here. Don't get pushed down the hole. Should see a nice flow coming all the way down and in. Okay, you'll see all the water flowing down and in. And then in the center spot here, where you see the dead water just standing still, place another water source there, and then another water source there. And then what you want to do is come to this corner here, where you see, you know, it's just a single drop down. Place a block, and then remove it. Do the same thing here, place a block, remove it. That's going to remove that dead space there, or that still water there. So do that. You can see the still water goes away. Do the same thing. See the still water goes away. And all of the water here gets pointed towards these corners here, which is going to help direct the iron golems into their kill chamber here. Okay, and now your next step after this, once you have it all set up and done and ready to go, is do the same looking at trick that we did with the villagers. So look at the cauldron, and you'll see it is at 112.63. Or sorry, 112.163. Go to the surface, do the same thing, dig your hole until you can see down into the cauldron. You may have to remove that block in order to jump out, but make sure you build the wall back up here. and basically just drop your zombies in place. And just to be safe, so your iron farm doesn't start producing any golems right away, what you want to do is potentially maybe put a block up on each side, so that way it blocks the line of sight between the villagers and the zombies here. Okay, that'll give you a little bit more time to work and get your stuff together while you're doing this. So place those blocks there, and then do the same looking at Y trick that we did before. Once you have your once you have your zombies in place, just make sure you give them a roof, so that way they cannot jump out. And then as well, give them a name tag. Okay, so that way they do not despawn. You can also throw an item in there, so that way they pick it up. Once a zombie has either a name tag or an item in their hands, they will not despawn from your world, basically. And you are set and ready to go. The last thing to do is to give them a roof, like that, so that way they cannot jump out. And then you can remove all of these blocks here around them. They'll start doing the jumping thing, which is what you want. Okay. And then as soon as you remove these blocks here, they are going to have line of sight with these villagers. As you can see, their line of sight is being blocked right now because of the block that is there. Okay, and once you remove that block there, your iron farm is set and ready to go. You'll obviously want to, remove some of these blocks maybe up here and place down your lanterns in order to light this place up. So you can do something like that if you want to. You can even just hang them from the roof if you want. Okay, that is completely up to you what you want to do, but you definitely want to give some light in this place so that way zombies do not spawn. And once you have everybody in place, so your zombies are in place, your villagers here are in place, and everything else is looking good, what you can do is just remove these blocks here. Wait for the day and night cycles to shift, and you should have iron golem spawning. Okay, now if you're running into the issue where you do not see your villagers sleeping, as you can see we are time set night, and as you can see none of these villagers here are hopping into their beds. The solution for that is to just place your piece of carpet down on top of the center block, just like you see there. Okay, and as you can see, these guys here are hopping into their beds. Then all you want to do is just remove these blocks here. So remove these lower blocks, put your piece of carpet down, and you are good to go. Now, I never had this problem on my other world. If we switch back to that world now, you will see all the golems are spawning. I do not have this piece of carpet here, but yeah, the farm is still working and good to go. So as you can see, that guy there was going to sleep, and that was without the piece of carpet there. So if you are having those issues where the villagers do not sleep, just simply remove that that upper piece of or upper row of glass there, and then place down your carpet on the center block there. What's going to happen is that these guys are going to bob up and down. As they are bobbing up and down, they get to a point where they don't see the zombie basically, and that allows them to sleep for the split second, and then this row here being removed will allow them to get spooked by the zombie and then jump back up onto their workstations. So if you are having an issue, like I said, where they are not sleeping, just place your piece of carpet there, remove this top layer, and you are good to go. The farm is ready. Okay, so if we just wait for daytime to come now, I will do by using commands. Set 3000. 3000 is the hour or time or tick, whatever you want to call it, that villagers start to go to work, and bam, we got golem spawning. So just wait for that to happen. Do that if you are having issues with the villagers sleeping, and you are good to go. A few things to talk about anyways is if you do a staircase down to it, try to make it a hidden staircase, but try to make it so that it is only 1 block wide. If you make it more than 1 block wide and you end up in the section right here where it's 3 blocks high, you have a potential chance of spawning a golem inside that staircase there, which could then just spoil your whole farm, because these guys are going to look in a 16 block area around them, and if they spot a golem, you know, or if they detect a golem is within that area there, your farm is going to stop working. So like I said, you can either, you know, build your stair up and away, build it way out first, so come way out here first and then start to climb back up. But once you do that, you are good to go. Look at that, we got 5 golems right at once. Okay, now if you're having an issue like this where the golems are kind of getting caught up on the edge or on the curb, what I would do before you put the water in is put down some fence gates just like this on the 3 outside blocks, and then open all of those fence gates. And what's going to happen is you'll see that the golems then are able to, you know, they don't get caught up on the edge. As you can see, they just get pushed forward and straight down into the pit. So do that for all 3 sides here, just like that, and you are good to go. So it should look like that before you put your water in, and that will greatly help with the efficiency of the farm. Okay, now I know this video is a little long, so I'm not going to do it, but what you can do is, you know, build the rest of your rooms down here underground, or if you do have rooms that are up here beyond it, you know, go to my other underground iron farm video. And what you want to basically do is keep all rooms at least 8 blocks away from this spot here. Now, as you can see, there is some iron here in these stairs. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about. If it is more than 1 block wide, the golem that is here will not take cramming damage, and then these villagers here are going to pick up on it, and these villagers here are going to pick up on it, and that will decrease the rates of your iron farm. So like I said, either build your rooms down here and below the farm, 8 blocks away from the villagers, leave your stairs, or bring your stairs anyways out a little bit farther before you do come up, but that is something to keep in mind while you're building this thing. Okay, so that is basically it, you guys. You know, do what you want with this farm, be as creative as you can, but like I said, just make sure all your rooms are 8 blocks away from these villagers. You can even hook up an item transfer system, so you know, the item elevator like I showed you in the other underground iron farm video, and you are good to go. So that is the video. I know this was a long one, so we're going to cut it short there. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. We're almost nearly at 3,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. You know, I appreciate every single one of you. I love you guys to death. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.